prosecution must prove that the crime was committed and the defendant is the person who committed the crime. However, if you are not satisfied with the defendant's guilt to an extent that reasonable doubt exists, and the defendant must be found not guilty. Ms. Gracie, Hebert, what is today's case?
Your Honor, today's case is the State of Louisiana versus Hendricks Rose. State of Louisiana versus Hendricks Rose. Indictment for first-degree murder, March 19, 2025. The grand jurors of the State of Louisiana duly impaneled and sworn for the parish of Revere Rafting in the name and authority of the said state upon their oath within the jurisdiction of the 75th Judicial District Court upon their oath state that Hendricks Rose between the 9th and 10th day of December 2016 in the parish of Revere Rafting within the jurisdiction of the 75th Judicial District Court. Did then and there unlawfully and intentionally kill one Martin Jones and one Kimber Solomon. The said Hendricks Rose had the specific intent to kill or inflict great bodily harm upon the said victim in violation of RRP 431. Contrary to the form of the statute and against the peace and dignity of the state of Louisiana.
Thank you. Is the prosecution ready?
And her blue Mustang a few minutes later.
No. Hendricks left during the party for 15 minutes. He came back after I dropped him off a couple minutes later.
I know, and then the second time slot was that a few minutes later he drove behind you.
So she couldn't have ran 3 flights of stairs in a few minutes.
Well, jury, if you think about it, a top athlete with amazing endurance and a strong amount of adrenaline could have basically done anything in a few minutes, including commit murder.
But they never saw their face, but there was a lot of SAU students too. So it's hard to pinpoint that one person, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And on the night of the murders, did you and Miss Rhodes attend the party at the River Suites apartment?
Yes.
Did Hendricks ever leave you at that party?
She left for about 15 minutes. I just assumed she went to the bathroom or something. When she came back, she didn't look or act any different. There's no way she could have gone anywhere.
And what time did Hendricks want to leave the party?
Around 2:45 a.m.
And ladies and gentlemen, the autopsy of the bodies state that the victims of the bodies expired at 3 a.m., but they wanted to leave at 2:45.
So, obviously, when you're holding a gun, when you're committing a murder, you wouldn't want to leave your fingerprints on the gun. Common sense. So, when you put on the gloves, your fingerprints would be left in the glove, right?
Yes.
And were Hendricks Jones' fingerprints inside the glove?
Yes.
So, for Detective Ollie Houston, it is true that he told you that to find any and all evidence linking Hendricks to the murder. However, when he arrived on the crime scene, it seemed that all evidence was pointing to Hendricks. So, could he have just been saying?
Yes.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
So, could you tell me how old you are?
I'm 21 years old.
And what year are you at MUV?
I'm a senior at AA.
And did you give Miss Jones a tool?
Obviously,
Yeah. Yes. I have an example that I could give, but I'm gonna hold it to myself. Why'd you give him a hoodie? Because you were dating. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Is it true that your GPA was brought down? Just thinking about Miss Jones after he broke up with you. Excuse me.
Yes.
Okay. And did you go to the party on December 9th?
Yes, I went with my friend Sage Tatum.
Okay. And what time did you leave that party?
Around like 2:40.
Okay. And did you see Marcin and Kimber that night?
I did not see them at all.
And is it true that you played tennis against Mr. Houston and his son?
Yes, and the match got very heated.
Is it true that Mr. Houston had to be escorted off the court after you beat his son?
Yes, but not only off the court, he was also escorted off of the campus.
Oh wow, that's very professional by him.
Okay.
Do you think Mr.
And what's your area of expertise?
I'm an expert in blood splatter.
And when did you go to investigate the crime scene?
I investigated the crime scene on December 9th, 2016.
Okay, and where'd you find the deceased bodies?
I found Marcin and Kimber's bodies on the floor of Marcin's apartment at NAU.
Okay, alright. And what did you notice about Kimber and Marcin's bodies?
Marcin's body was face down on the floor, and Kimber's body was face up on the floor, as if Kimber was trying to save Marcin.
Okay, and after you did an autopsy of both bodies, what did you conclude?
I concluded the cause of death was multiple gunshot wounds to the head and chest that were likely inflicted by a pistol.
Okay, and what did you notice about that pistol?
I noticed the pistol was .45 caliber and had a silencer attached.
Okay, I enter this evidence as exhibit number 1. Can you please identify this?
This is the gun I saw that killed Marston and Kimber.
Okay. Jerry, please pass this around to take a look.
How long were you in the Navy?
A decade.
Is it true you attended SAU and your son also plays tennis at SAU?
Yes, that's true.
Have you interacted with Hendricks before this case?
Yes, my son plays tennis against him.
Does this bias you in any way?
No, sir.
Do you believe that Hendricks Rhodes committed the murder?
My whole heart.
Was the door unlocked when you arrived?
The lock on the front door was broken when I arrived.
Describe to me the crime scene.
Tennis shoe prints marked a blood trail coming out of the left bedroom. A silencer pistol and gloves were left on the bedroom dresser, and a blue NAU tennis hoodie in the corner, which is Hendricks Rhodes is known to wear.
Are you aware of anyone that had problems with Marston?
One name repeatedly came up in my investigation, Hendricks Rhodes.
Did Hendricks ever threaten Marston with him?
Yes, there are threatening text messages between Hendricks Rhodes and Kimber, and Jones had to call campus police to get him to leave.
Later in the case. When you got to the scene, where were the gloves, the hoodie, and the gun found?
The gloves were on the bedroom dresser. The hoodie was in the corner.
Okay. Where was the gun?
The silencer pistol was on the dresser.
Okay. Keep that in mind also. While you were questioning people at the apartments, did anyone recall any commotion that night? When you went to...
It is a silencer pistol, though, so it's just going to be quiet.
When you went to Miss Hendricks Rhodes' apartment for questioning, where was she?
Repeat that question, please.
When you went to Miss Hendricks Rhodes' apartment for questioning, where was she?
Hendricks Rhodes' apartment?
Yes.
She left and went to Boston.
In your witness statement, you state that Hendricks Rhodes has beaten your child in several tennis matches, and you state that there's no bias, but I mean, come on. You obviously have to have a chip on your shoulder since the child just keeps losing. You also state that the evidence speaks for itself against Hendricks Rhodes, but what evidence are you talking about? Please tell the jury.
I keep my civilian life and my professional life aside. For myself.
How would you describe Hendricks' personality?
He's a ticking time bomb. He's always starting fights. He cheats off me on tests. Many instances, he's threatening messages and
In your
such.
opinion, would you believe that this is something Hendricks would say?
Yes.
So, what time did you call the police to shut down the party on the first floor of your apartment building?
I first called at 2 a.m.
Okay. And then, so when you heard the gunshots, I mean, yes, the gun had a silencer on it, but it's still kind of loud. Do you think someone could have heard it?
It's not very likely. The party, it was very loud, and I think the only reason that I heard the gunshots was because I was right next door.
That when you heard the gunshots and you ran into Martin's apartment, what did you notice?
So when I ran in, the door was unlocked. I was just able to go in. I saw the 2 dead bodies on the floor. I saw Hendricks' NAU tennis jacket, and I believe that is all.
Oh, Mr. Vanderbilt, what was your reason for transferring to SAU?
It's just the athletes, they were very bad influences. They were always starting fights, and I just wanted to be in a safer place.
So that doesn't lead to any bias in this investigation. You know our defendants actually.
I agree, and no, it does not lead to any bias. I want to be safe. I don't want to.
Okay. Where were you at the time of the murder?
I was in my room.
You're in your room?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do? At what time did you claim to hear your gunshots?
I didn't have a clock in my room. I did not see a time. But
Really?
Really,
That you claimed right here.
Okay. Jury Foreman, can you rise? Have you come to a verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your verdict?
Hendricks Rhodes versus the state of Louisiana is not guilty.
Thank you. Okay, so that concludes our, wait,